right.
Okay, fantastic.
Like
Let's,
the surround sound.
yeah, I ended the FaceTime. Okay, great,
Let
great,
me blur my background. It doesn't really matter.
great. So I think it's recording. I've never done this before. I'm very new at this podcasting, if we'll call it that.
Yeah.
But let me just start and explain the intention behind this video. I'm hoping other people will see. It's
Yeah.
essentially a podcast and it's a training vlog for you, Aaron Arslan.
Sick.
And I hope that through your endeavor and through your effort and through your hard work, we can inspire other people to do hard things too,
Heck yeah.
to break records and do things they never thought possible. So I'll introduce you and then you fill in the details where I missed.
Cool.
So Aaron, we were buddies. We were on the same cross country team. Aaron was the fastest kid I had ever met, and probably in some regards is still the fastest person I've ever met. And from Winchester, Virginia. And I basically talked you into training and racing a marathon.
Yep. Somehow.
And you are now 4 weeks. You've committed. You're dedicated. You're now 4 weeks in. You've
We just finished four
just
weeks.
finished the fourth week.
Yeah.
And I am a marathon runner, and I want to essentially provide and give others guidance
Yeah.
from the experience that I've gained from training and the training that's brought me two back-to-back 11-minute PRs in the marathon at Richmond, 26.2 in November 2023 and 2024 with 252 and 241 respectively. And I'm excited to race it again this year in this
Heck yeah.
November. And I'm really looking forward to us sharing the start line in
Yeah.
Richmond downtown.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's going to be such a good time.
Marathons something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. So,
Mhm.
and I always regretted like kicked myself for not having raced a long distance event other than obviously like the 5K, that doesn't even count.
Mhm.
Uh, but when I was actually in running shape, I
Yeah.
wish I would have done a half marathon or a marathon or even a 10. Like I literally didn't even race a 10K,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
I was just sticking with like the 5K and
Yes.
track.
So what,
Yeah.
for the listener, what, if there are any, what was your PR?
Uh, so I guess my proudest PRs would have been my 5K time, which was a 15:46, I think. Is that right?
Hmm. I think
Um,
so. I think
yeah,
that's about right.
15:46,
Was that your junior year?
my junior year.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Where,
of my best stuff was my junior year.
what course was that on?
Uh, I think that was at what was the one that we had to miss prom for?
Oh, that was in North Carolina.
It was at Glory Days? No, not Glory Day.
I can't remember, but
It was some big one like
it was
Adidas
a
or something.
big race
And we
and
got
right.
the protein bars, the
No, no,
Gator
no, no, not
bars.
prom. It was homecoming.
Was it
Homecoming.
homecoming?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, even worse
And the
because
bus could
yeah.
not drive faster than 50 or 60 miles an hour, so it just took forever. It was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, that was horrible. But it was a great course. It was a quick course. Very flat, very fast,
Mhm.
and went through the woods and all that fun stuff. And I remember
Mhm.
like the thing that got me to go that fast was because anytime I was like trying to go as fast as I possibly could, I would talk to some other random runner that I
Mhm.
usually didn't know the person at all. And I would be like, hey, let's go catch this guy. And I
Yeah,
would like talk with them and we would basically be like, all right, yeah, let's go. And then we would just like go and try to catch some random guy together
that's
instead of it
crazy.
being like it's this grueling, horrible, painful process doing a 15:46. And
Mhm.
so
Right.
just like talking to some random guy beside me and being
That's
like,
funny.
let's go catch this guy.
I
That
do
was
the same thing. I love doing that. It,
yeah.
uh, yeah, it directs your attention elsewhere. It
Yeah.
directs your attention externally instead of internally.
Yeah.
It
And
gives you a, mhm.
It's one of the few things that during like while you're running, it's one of the few things that you can actually turn it into something just other than yourself.
Yeah, you're
You know?
so that's the difference between an external cue of attention versus the internal cue. So the internal cue would be move my legs into knee flexion, focusing on arm swing, focusing on things internal. And external is let's make it to that stop sign. Let's make it to the light up ahead. Let's make it to that street. Let's
Yeah.
catch those guys ahead of me. And the latter, the external cues, have a lot more evidence on improving motor function. There's a
Yeah.
so that's certainly a great training principle and practice.
Yeah. So that was
Hmm.
pretty cool, and I can like vividly remember going through that race, and it was a
Yeah,
lot of fun. And then
yeah.
the other time that I was pretty pumped about was my 1600 time, which
Mhm.
in junior year uh I did a 4:24 1600,
That's really fast.
and I was pretty thrilled with that. And I remember like finishing the race and Randy being there and high-fiving
Yeah,
me and
yeah.
friends and family being there. And that
Right.
was a cool race because that was like against the fastest kids in the area. Uh,
Hmm.
that was at Millbrook. Um,
Hmm.
and so yeah, that was a lot of fun because it was a pretty packed race. And I think my best time before that
Hmm.
was like a 4:35. Um,
Wow,
I
that's
came in and did an
significant.
11-second PR.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Okay. And senior year, I remember not being, you weren't necessarily thrilled to be running
Yeah.
senior year. We
Hey,
get a little tired and get a little burnt out and lose that spirit of competition. You've been doing this for a large portion of your life at this point, and there are different seasons in life, and perhaps you were on your way out of the early competitive season, running season, we could call that.
yeah, yeah. And I try to like pinpoint it because obviously it's not like I was not trying in practice or anything
Hmm.
like that. But I think what really did it was Ultimate Frisbee. Like if I'm really
Different
honest.
things that are more fun
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, because
certainly.
obviously I started that club, and
Right.
my like main friend group was through just Ultimate Frisbee going on the weekends, literally like 3 or 4 hours of straight up sprinting up and down a field,
Yes.
and that's gonna interfere quite a bit,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
So
it's a different game
yeah, so that
entirely.
that kind of shifted sort of my focus kind of shifted to just like let's just enjoy ourselves, do something that's like a team sport, all that
Right.
stuff. Because I do like the camaraderie of something like that, even though it's not like a serious varsity sport or anything, but
Yeah.
it was just fun, you know.
Yes.
So um
And
definitely
then
sort of prioritize that.
you were successful. You went to Virginia Tech and played on their team. I remember
Yeah,
that freshman year and were active throughout college.
yeah.
Probably, maybe, I don't know. I didn't know you. I didn't know all the details at that point in time, but probably not as structured, nearly as structured as it was in in high school.
Yeah, well, the the team at Virginia Tech. So again, like
Hmm.
the thing that I loved about the Ultimate Frisbee in high school, it was very just you're hanging out, you're like playing with friends, still very competitive, but it's not like you're not taking it as seriously. If it's a super windy day or super cold day, you're not even going to go out, like
Yeah.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy stuff. But then going into college, it was like oh, they just took Ultimate Frisbee to the next level. Like
Hmm.
it's a sport, like a legit club D1 level sport.
Hmm.
So I started doing that, and it was like, 20-degree days, 30 mile per hour winds, and they're still practicing. And I was just like, ah. And then
Hmm.
the whole travel thing. So you're traveling down to Florida, you're cooped up in a van to go play frisbee.
Hmm.
And I was like freshman year, I was sitting on the sideline, so I was
Yeah.
not thrilled about it because I just wanted to go play. I just wanted to have fun. So, yeah, kind of going into college, I more or less kind of just shifted away from running and started playing frisbee, and then I just started doing extracurriculars, recreational stuff like rec league stuff, intramural stuff, and sort of strayed away from running uh,
Yes.
quite a bit. And that's basically like the last time I was even close to being in running shape or
Hmm.
like focusing on running
Hmm.
until
Hmm.
now.
Hmm. And you've been lifting, you've been active your whole life. You've been
Yeah.
very active your whole life, and you've had a big focus for how long now on lifting, on powerlifting specifically, if I can
Yeah.
name it that.
So, I mean, the thing is, so in, it's not like I'm a huge power lifter, like killing it in the gym or anything, although I am active
Well, that's
with,
how you're training. If
yeah.
you were to label any type of specific training that you've been enjoying the past however many years, that's what I'd probably just based
Yeah.
on what I've heard from you.
Yeah. Probably just like strength training stuff.
Hmm.
Trying to actually put some type of size on for the first time in my life.
Hmm.
Um, because that like in high school I think I was probably around like 145 pounds going into like senior year.
Yeah.
Right now I hover around like 165, so I've got
Hmm.
like 20 pounds and the same height,
Hmm.
and it's not like I'm carrying around a lot of fat, so
No.
I think I've definitely gained. I have to give myself credit for like having gained some type of muscle, not
Yeah.
that I'm like anywhere near what you would consider a lifter, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I think you can truly do both.
Hmm.
Have, some of the lifting goals still and continue running. And obviously, if you get to the point where you're elite level, like just trying to get lower twos in the marathon or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you probably don't want to have any weight in terms of muscle, or you want to at least skim down quite a lot. But
So how I understand this, with how this makes sense to me, I think there's a big misconception around strength training and long distance endurance athletes.
yeah,
My opinion is you don't need to be a stick, a beanpole. What matters, because you can see big guys who are fast. Nick
yeah,
Bare, for example, he's over
mhm,
200 pounds running 230 some marathons,
yeah,
to low 240 around that range. I'm pretty big. I'm like 170, 175. Granted, I'm 6'3",
yeah,
more on the beanpole side of things. And then, of course, the world's best are soaking wet 125 pounds,
yeah,
maybe 130, but they're short, small dudes.
yeah.
I think what matters with the ratio that we need to focus on and just be okay with, to not, like feel guilty about strength training, because I need you strong, is strength to weight ratio.
Okay.
So I want you lean. However you can get there, I want you lean,
Yeah.
because the more, all things equal, the runner who can recruit more type 2 fiber, assuming that the type 1 fiber slow twitch has been recruited enough for the given task, all things equal, the one who can recruit the most type 2 fiber for each thrust, for each step into the ground, is going to be faster
Yeah.
than the one who can't. And there's research, um, mechanic mechanistically, more type 2 hypertrophy. There's
Okay.
research, there's a shuttle method essentially where lactate gets built up in the cell. So this is metabolism, not just energy metabolics, where you'll have lactate develop as a byproduct of um, oxidative phosphorylation. So just your casual run, say you go for a 10-mile run and you progress it near the end, you're developing lactate. Lactate's a fuel source that gets recycled. It's a wonderful fuel source. The heart loves it, the brain loves it, the body loves lactate. It's a powerful signaling molecule as well, um, for plenty of amazing things. Once the mitochondria is exceeded its capacity for metabolizing this lactate, once it says I can't do no more, it then shuttles it to the type 2 muscle around it, if
Okay.
that makes sense. So all things equal, you'd have to be trying to to do this wrong, where strength training is part of your program. The
Yeah.
only problem, you won't get into trouble. I want you strong. So that'll be something we talk about more uh, as we work together, is how strength training, how pivotal strength training is for not only your performance as a runner, but also injury prevention.
Yeah.
And I believe this is my speculation. There'll be a month, probably in October, of some of the most intense. We're building up now. You've just started. You're just finished 4 weeks. We're building up to probably the biggest month of running of your life, um, which will probably be somewhere in October, and then you'll taper for about 10 days before the race in
Got it.
second week of November. And I believe that the work now and the strength training now will give you capacity to tolerate for your body to tolerate the stress that workload in October will give you. So
Yeah.
like
Is there
strength
any
training.
specific is there a specific protocol with strength training, like a days of the week split or anything that you
Mhm.
recommend?
I like to, so I'll just tell you what I think practically makes sense.
Yeah.
I want you to train, dose it for strength, meaning go to about, not to failure, go to about 2 reps before failure. So we call that 2 reps in reserve. And by practically, I mean, let's do the big muscle compound groups, squats, deadlifts, and then single leg RDLs, and then the single leg Bulgarian split squats.
Mhm.
Because we're all busy people. And then probably the fifth lift out of those five would be some form of Olympic, some form of plyometric,
Yeah.
probably twice a
So
week.
basically just focused on compound lifting.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would. Not that you wouldn't see more return, you wouldn't see return. Not that you're hitting diminishing return that, but just based on how busy life is and how hectic
yeah.
things can get, I want to give what is going to
Quality.
fit, what's actually going, something that you're actually going to be able to stick to for
Yeah.
the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. No pun
So I
intended.
know pun intended. And the research will say hypertrophy, you dose it for like higher reps, and then strength, you do lower
Yeah.
reps, more sets. I just do both. I'll just do say 3 sets of 10, going to 2 reps in reserve,
Yeah.
where at the 10th rep you ask yourself, if my life was on the line, how many more reps could I do? And if the answer is more than two, then you need to increase the intensity.
Yeah.
And then I'll do 5 sets of 5. So there's a good rule of thumb that Andy Galpin, he's a muscle researcher.
Yeah.
Basically, he says for strength training, you 3 to 5 times a week you strength train, and you do 3 to 5 sets, and you do 3 to 5 minutes of rest, and you do 3 to 5 reps per set.
I think I remember hearing him talk
Right?
about that. The only thing with that is
Hmm.
um I hear a lot of good things about supersetting.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
right. So what would he say you think about supersetting and the time between sets if you're supersetting?
There won't be much time between sets if you're supersetting. That's the point, I think. I don't
So
know. Mhm.
if he was talking about 3 to 5 minutes between sets, but then you're turning it into a superset, are you waiting, let's say, for example, you were doing a bench press and then
Mhm.
some type of a row, right?
Mhm.
You're supersetting the two because they're different muscle groups.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Uh, would you do, all right, finish the bench press, start timer, 3 minutes from now, I'm going to be benching again? Or is it,
Oh, oh. I
right?
don't know. Probably
'Cause that's something I haven't really been
uh
too clear on.
like what matters is that you do it in
Yeah.
any form of putting the muscle under stretch and tension. And then we're in the periphery with this
Yeah.
type of but it's interesting stuff it's
Yeah.
important to touch on. I don't know. Give yourself when I would
Here-
say when you're supersetting, you're sacrificing max strength dosage, signal that you
Yeah.
can provide to your muscle already. So Superset, I think the purpose of the superset is to when you're in a hurry, when you're busy and you want to
Yeah.
also kind of get some cardio along with your strength training. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, 100%. So your heart rate's always elevated.
Yeah, you're not optimizing strength
Yeah,
gains.
because the thing, so all right, you've been giving me 4 weeks so far
Hmm.
of running.
Can we
Uh,
talk about the 4 weeks? What have I given you and how has it gone? What are the
yeah,
highs? What are the lows?
yeah, yeah,
Unexpected. Give us the whole rundown.
yeah. All right, so no pun intended.
Please. Yeah, of course. That's
Um,
good.
but all right, so week one, going into this whole thing, it's not like I wasn't running.
Hmm.
I was doing a lot of running. I actually had a split where I was doing like three-ish days of zone two. I would do one tempo run day, and then I was trying to incorporate one like a high elevated heart rate day.
Hmm.
So sprinting or whatever it may be.
Hmm.
Um, so I didn't go into it having no like recent history with running. You know,
Hmm.
I was doing it, but I wasn't systematic about it. So what I like about what we've done so far is it feels systematic and it feels like there is progressive increase every single week. We're
Hmm.
building as opposed to just doing something, you
Hmm.
know, which I really like.
Cool.
So we started out, obviously, we kind of like started out with me feeling like I was reserving myself a bit.
Hmm.
Um, but again, you kind of explained it to me where it's like, hey, we're just habit forming right now.
Yes.
Get
Yes.
up, uh, poop, and
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
go on your run, and then deal with your day. So like that's kind of just been my habit, right? Just like get up, do your thing, and then you've got the rest of the day like open. So it doesn't really
Hmm.
interfere too much if you do it that way and you do it right.
Hmm.
Um, So it's been pretty cool. So like week one, easy, 3 20-minute runs on the weekend, 2 30-minute runs.
Hmm.
That was simple. And then the next week, up by 10%. So same exact thing plus 10%. And then the third week, I think the third week was our first uh sprint workout day or
Yeah.
track workout day.
Track day. Hmm.
So we did 10% more on the shorter runs during the week, and then we added
Yeah.
uh, the track workout.
Yeah.
And then this week was again 10% more on those three runs, and then the track workout plus a little bit more.
Hmm.
So it's been cool just because it's like progressively, I feel like I've increased speed a bit on my
Hmm.
like shorter runs. And I did the track workout today and I felt fine.
Good.
Like I'm trying to make a point of, and I feel like this is something that I've had success with throughout my running is whenever Coach Stickley gave me something to do, I wouldn't overdo it. I
Hmm.
and honestly, this is almost me as like a kind of a lazy runner,
Hmm.
because some people will go out and they'll be like, "Oh, he told me to do this, but I feel really good, so I'm going to go really hard and I'm going to do even more because I feel good today."
Hmm.
But for me, it was like, oh, Mark just said to do this run. Okay, I'm going to do this run and that's it. So that's like kind of how I approach it. Like if he wanted me to do something else, like he has thought more about this workout than I have. So he would have told me to do more, you
Hmm.
know? So I kind of approach it as whatever is my task, I will do that and then I'll be done,
Right. Right.
you know?
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
that's kind of how I'm approaching it, and it's been cool because it's very easy for me to follow what you've given me. Like especially for the track workout day, it's keep a 90-second pace per lap,
Hmm.
take this much rest in between, and then do this warm up, do this cool down.
Hmm.
And I could show you the splits. It's like 90, 89, 90,
Perfect. Yeah.
90. And then you go into I hit the 3 minute on the dot for the 800s. And then
Right.
I did like 5:58 on the
Hmm.
mile,
Hmm.
you know. So it's like I'm trying to stay literally right on top of it,
Hmm.
because if I'm not staying right on top of it, then it's kind of like you're kind of skewing things a bit. And I want to
Yeah,
make sure we're staying right on task.
it's perfect. We're building a thermostat.
Yeah.
All of this is for race day. You'll be set it and forget it mode for the
Yeah.
first two-thirds, three-quarters of the marathon. And I know there'll be energy in the tank for you to then race the last quarter. That's the hardest thing with the marathon because it is a race. They can tire from start to finish, but mentally, it needs to be thermostat mode, set it casual, forget it, conversational to allow yourself that racing at the end of the day, which is
Yeah.
so tough because you want
Yeah.
to, you'll be so excited on race day and
Want to go out fast.
no
Yeah.
one ever won anything in a 26-mile race, winning the fourth mile.
Yeah. 100%.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think that's it's pretty cool because yeah, it's just
cool.
like with putting in enough hours into the
Mhm.
preparation, like if you would have told me to go out and run in a 7:30 mile and
Yeah.
you told me go out, run a 7:30 mile and just like based on how it feels, don't even have a watch, go run 7:30, I probably couldn't have done that, you
Hmm.
know, 2 months ago. I probably would have been like way off on the times.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's a good
and
point.
even if I went for a 5 mile run, the first mile could have been like 7, and then it would have been like 8:30, and then it would have been like all over the place. But now that I've just like repeated, a lot of my runs have been like around 7:30 pace. So I could go out and start running and be like, yeah, this is 7:30 pace,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know? And I
It's very
think that's
exciting.
something that I was pretty good at in my high school days was because I would know pretty much exactly what pace I was running.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's vital. It's vital. You're developing this or you're rediscovering something that you've certainly had in spades, which is an ability to perceive effort and then use that to extrapolate out how, at that given effort, how much more you can go. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yep.
And that's what you'll need on race day. You'll need to check in with yourself here and there and say, it's pretty hard, but I think I'm still on target for finishing at this given goal I've given myself. Speaking of goals, and I don't mean to rush this, but no, I think I in my head today I was thinking no later than September do I want you to race a 10K.
Yep.
And then I would love for there to be a half in September, October. That makes sense. Like middle of October. Yeah, middle of October, half marathon.
Okay.
Yeah, so ideally early September, maybe late August, around that time, 10K for you, and then
Yep.
late September, half marathon. Yeah, that makes sense. And then give yourself that October, big fat October for a big training load
Yep.
to then taper off of for peaking on race day.
Yep.
That's what we're shooting towards. And I would say we're now transitioning out of the habit formation stage, which it's essential. It's essential to establish that first off for any new routine, any new training plan for whatever the sport is or whatever the effort is. So for the next week, I still want you to do how many days a week do you think on average you've been running? Five, 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, it's been like, yeah, 4 or 5.
Okay. I'll text you. I
All
don't
right.
know exactly yet. Probably we'll probably go 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Those are all zone two.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know exactly yet, but I'm going to text you and we're going to start to transition out of habit formation into more building phase, a different building phase, and keep it practical. I'm always having to toe the line between me asking too much of the athlete and then it becomes a little overwhelming and then you drop off.
Yeah.
So I'm optimizing early on for adherence. I want you
Cool.
to maintain adherence. And it looks like you've done that excellently. And
Yep.
if you do nothing else well in this buildup, if you do nothing else well, I don't mean even if it's not speed or distance or your long run or your track workouts, if you just comply and adhere to the best of your ability, then you'll be prepared on race day.
Yep.
And no matter what we do, race day in Richmond is going to be a functional overreach. That's my expectation for your
Yep.
first marathon. Um, but it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
So, and as
Looking
we,
forward to it.
it's gonna be
Be sweet.
it's so beautiful. Richmond in the fall is such a there's no better marathon to run as your first marathon,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna try to post this, figure out how that works. But any anything else you want to share?
I think we covered most things. I'm sure we'll
Okay.
on another one of these and then
Yeah,
kind of do updates on all that fun stuff.
I think that'd be
Uh,
good.
but yeah, no, this is sweet, and I appreciate all of the guidance and everything.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, it's pretty crazy to see where you've gone with it. So
Yeah, yeah.
having you as a
I'm
as
blessed.
a teacher is going to be pretty cool.
I'm excited. I'm really thrilled to share what I've learned, what's helped me and what hasn't to get where I am. And I think also it's important to give context to you to where you're at right now, geographically, which I think can motivate other people to get out there, even if so what I'm getting at is you don't have a whole lot of
I'm
room.
in a
Yeah,
barren
please.
land of excitement.
Yeah, you're
I'm in
yes.
Ashburn, Virginia right now.
Hmm.
Uh, just randomly landed here because my girlfriend got a job at a place down the street, and then she switched up jobs, and now she's
Hmm.
not even working in the area. So now we're just kind of stuck after we got our lease here.
Hmm.
Um, so we just ended up here, and so we're kind of waiting out the lease to end,
Hmm.
um, which is tough because we were just in Denver, Colorado, which was like
Hmm.
the mecca of
Yeah.
anything outdoors and sporty related.
Hmm.
But now at the current place, I basically have one running path that I can run
Hmm.
on, there and back. And then the for track days, it's like, 20 minutes out of the way to go to a track. So it's definitely it could be a better situation, but I
Hmm.
can still it's not like I have to drive somewhere to go running. I can still
Yes.
walk out the front door and go running, which
Yep.
is, in my opinion, crucial. Um,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
that's one of the beauties of running. There's like very low barrier to it.
Yeah, yeah,
You have
exactly.
somewhere to run, you can do it. Um, and yeah, I have somewhere to run. It just so happens to be one spot that I get to run on every single day. And I go out
Right,
and I run back,
right.
go out and run back. I'm not like seeing anything too different.
Different. It's just standardized, which
Yeah.
is
Like
that's the word
there
for it,
is
standardized.
there was a deer that got hit by a car, and I didn't
Oh,
watch it. I
poor dear.
only saw the aftermath on one of my runs. So it was laying right alongside the path that I run on, and every single day I would run past it, and every single day that I would run past it, I would see it a little bit more
Oh
decomposed.
my gosh.
Every single
Oh
day.
my gosh.
Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
and I would always know where it is. And then a little bit down the street from there, I think a car had maybe like a drunk driver situation, had gone through a fence on the
Hmm.
other side of the path. And so I like run past that every day and see the progress of them putting it back together. So like those are the few things that changed during my runs is a
Yeah,
decomposed
yeah.
deer and them building back up a fence that was broken down.
So what I'm getting at is you're doing a lot with a little available to you. And if you're able to find, even if it's the most boring deer, rotted, drunk driver fence, broken route, you can make it happen and train for your marathon or train for your 10K, train for your half marathon, not given a lot.
Yeah. For sure.
Run,
I
yeah,
think as the runs get longer, I'll be able to run and see new things.
yes, yeah, yeah. We're working there. We're getting there, but it's a testament to how to the humility, to the virtue of humility that running embodies and trains you. It's
Yeah.
tedious, it is boring, and that's the point.
Yep. You just got to put the work in.
That's right. Okay. I'll text you with your new runs this week. It won't be too crazy, but it'll be exciting. It'll be fun still.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Baby Otta.
Yes, sir.
And we,
I will catch you next time, okay?
right.
All right. Bye, Aaron.
All right, later.
Peace.